Welcome to Peaking to Success, the podcast that delves deep into our guest success stories. The highs, the lows, the lessons learned, and if there's any exciting future plans lined up. Talking about future plans, Peaking into Success is proudly supported by Peak Wills and Estate Planning. We're here to support you with any future planning. Long gone are the times of solicitors in suits and ties and dark rooms and outdated practices. We are proud to offer a fresh and dynamic approach to the stuffy old world of wills, changing the way we talk about what happens when we die. But that's enough talk about death on a podcast introduction. It's time to pass you over to Peaking into Success host, Mr. Adam Kahn. Whose success are we peeking into this episode, Adam?
Thanks, Sam. Today we've got on a man who goes to every Derby home and majority of the away games and vlogs them all for us all to watch on YouTube. We've got on Adam, also known as Goal Hanger on YouTube.
The Bless is open every day from 12 p.m, serving a wide range of beers, ciders, real ales and spirits. Their kitchen also provides handmade pizzas, loaded nachos, chicken strips and ice cream from 5:50 to 10:30 Monday to Thursday and 12 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Friday, Saturday and Sunday. The pub quiz is very popular with anyone that enjoys a good beer and a bit of a laugh with their mates. Taking place every Wednesday at 9 p.m, there's loads of prizes to be won, including £50 drinks vouchers for the winners and a bottle of wine for the best team name. Everyone's a winner. They also have a spacious function room available to hire that can hold up to 100 people. Wow, that's a lot. Perfect for birthday parties, work events, weddings and wakes. The Bless really comes to life at the weekends with their branded nights of Stone Love and Fully Loaded, where the DJs play alternative, indie and rock music spanning the generations until the early hours of 2 a.m. There really is something for everyone in what is arguably Derby's best pub.
Hello Adam, how are we today?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for getting me on.
Oh no, pleasure. It's good to be able to talk football and kind of get another perspective, especially when the current scores and results are not going our way. So it's good to try and think of some positive times and hopefully you'll bring that. For anyone that doesn't know you, how would you sum up what you do in a nutshell?
The probably easiest way to say it is just sort of match day football vlogs. I think they're simply known as. Just basically record myself before the game, giving a score prediction. Try and give it a bit of a narrative each video, depending on how the game's gone. Which is better if there's a couple of goals involved. Try and get them in the celebrations. And after the game, give my thoughts. And over the course of the season, you probably get quite a good collection of emotions from the start right to the end. And hopefully the end's better than the start, really. That's all you want.
Nice. Do you, for anyone that kind of doesn't know what that is, could you name a YouTuber that's kind of similar to yourself or does a similar kind of genre?
There's quite a few. Probably there's one for each club, and then there's a couple that sort of have branched out now and are becoming a lot bigger. So probably the biggest one would probably be Theo and his YouTube channel Stogden. Obviously he's appeared on Sky Sports now as almost a personality. He probably sums it up best, and probably a lot of people have taken inspiration from him in what they do, including myself. He basically just pretty much does match day vlogs, saying that he travels all over the world.
Nice. And that's kind of the goal for you, I assume.
I mean, it'd be great to be able to go and experience different atmospheres and stuff like that. Obviously, massive football fan. At the moment, it's just Derby. I'm quite happy it's just Derby at the moment, to be fair. I mean, I love watching Derby and obviously getting to make the videos and show people what it's like following Derby, really.
Nice. So, of course, you've mentioned the team that you do the match day vlogs for being Derby County. So, kind of, where did your love come from for Derby County and how did you start following them?
It started when I was about, I think my earliest memory would be when I was about 4 years old. So I've been playing football all my life, as many people do. And probably when I was 4 years old, got taken to my first game by my mum and dad. We played QPR at home. We lost 4-2. I don't remember much from the game, to be honest. obviously in classic Derby style, unfortunately we lost. But I remember at the end it was Remembrance Day, and they had these remembrance shirts on. I just remember them being like all around us. So that's a key moment from when I went to my first game. That's probably my earliest memory of Derby County.
And then it kind of snowballed from there, and have you always had a season ticket from kind of that moment, or have there been times of dips in and out?
So it was a bit in and out for quite a few years, probably for the next 6 years. It was a bit in and out, maybe 2 to 3 games a season, I would say. Not many at all. I've not got too many memories of them. Obviously, I was quite young when I first went, and then around the age of, I think I was 9 years old, 9 or 10, we got a half-season ticket in my family in 2013-14, around Christmas time, when Derby appointed Steve McLaren for the first time as full first-team coach, and then went on this great run, started going home and away regularly that year as well. Well, more regularly than what I had been doing before. I'd never been to an away game until before that, and then what a season to pick. Obviously got to Wembley and was hooked ever since. We've been going home and away ever since then for the last, I think it's about 8 or 9 years now, I think.
Jeez. So do you still go with your family now? Is it still the same people that started kind of?
Yeah, still my mum and my dad. It's always been a big family thing. You know, we're all football mad, all Derby County obsessed, and we're going home and away ever since. Try not to miss too many games. Obviously, if there's some which are a bit just too far out on a Tuesday night, you know, life gets in the way sometimes. But no, yeah, same people I've been going with.
Nice. So, of course, you were going to these matches, you were attending home and away. So when did the kind of camera come out and you started recording kind of your experiences?
It would have probably been around when I was about 13, 14 when I started. Obviously, I'm probably in the generation where, you know, YouTube hit the boom when we were about 9 or 10. So really caught me. And then there was a couple of a lot bigger people who did YouTube videos, obviously. And they started doing videos on their own stuff. Obviously, Spencer Owen, who owns #United, he was one of the early people who did it on his team, West Ham. And I was hooked, and I thought maybe I could give them a go doing them about Derby County. Made a couple. They weren't great at all. Not many videos. It was probably about a minute long with 2 or 3 videos. And then as the years went on, I became probably more obsessed with filmmaking as well at the same time. It kind of snowballed from there. That both aspects of my life collided, and probably when I was about 13, 14, so I'd say around 2016, 2017, probably that region.
Can you remember the first kind of match day vlog you did? Can you remember the game at all?
I can't. There might have been one. It might have been Charlton away, I think, and it wasn't a long one. It was about a minute long, if that. And it was literally, I'm sure it was made on iMovie with a picture of the stadium outside when I went, and then like a clip of the fans after we'd scored. And I think it was 2015-16. We had Darren Wassell as manager, and we beat Charlton 1-0. I think Russell scored a header, and it was just before we played Hull in the playoffs. I think that was my first one, but I didn't have any inclination that I'd ever go on and make however many more I have done. It's got to be over 100 now, but I never guessed then that I'd carry on doing it. I don't really remember making the video much back then, so
no,
I can't have been in the forefront.
What do, of course, the people around you when you're kind of filming on a match day think? Like, I mean, probably they got to know you and know that you're doing it, but what was kind of the initial kind of response from people when you were doing it?
So when I first started doing it and properly trying to make stuff, I think I was relatively unknown. It's just I didn't really want people to know, almost sort of thing. I was like, I'll keep it to myself, see what happens. And then where I'm currently sat now, everybody around me pretty much, you talk to people if they're regulars around you and just get to know them. And I think luckily a lot of them around me didn't quite know that I did the videos. Until I think it was West Ham last season, actually. So quite late on, a couple of lads recognised me and spoke to me, and then the people around me, it sort of clicked in their minds who I was. They'd seen videos and then realised who I am, which is nice. I mean, you always want to keep it subtle. You don't want to be not infringing on anybody's viewing experience of the game. You just want to keep it subtle, and you want to keep it as raw as possible. But yeah, everybody's nice about it. Everybody enjoys the videos, I think, which is always the good thing, isn't it?
100%. And I mean, you've got over 3,000 followers now on the channel. So kind of, what's the kind of growth been like of the channel? Has it been steady, or has it been like you remember a kind of big boom with it?
I think the biggest boom was when I think I was on about 300 subscribers from making videos. I think one of the first big realizations that I should kind of making videos is when we had I'm sure we had a cup run early on, the League Cup, and we played Grimsby and Carlisle. So not massive teams, but then the Grimsby video got 1,000 views, and I'm sure I took a picture of that screenshot, and it only had 24 subscribers. So that was massive. That was the first time when I was there. That's done quite well. And then I did the Carlisle game, went to penalties, and I'm sure it was something like 15 or 20 penalties was taken. And then when I uploaded that video, that got about 3,500, 5,000 views. And then that was in the same sort of time as well, a week or so after. And then I remember realising to do them then, I was on about 300 subscribers at the Lampard season, so in 2018, 2019. Started putting more effort into it. Started putting more editing in, and then we had Leeds away, and it was the famous Spygate, if anyone knows that. And then I uploaded my Leeds away video. Woke up, it was about a 20-minute video, and I look back at it, it's not a bad video for when I look back on it. And then the next morning I'd grown 200 subscribers overnight, 15,000 views. So where that video was shared in whatever Leeds Facebook groups or wherever it went, or whoever put that about, pretty much when I woke up the next day it changed. I'd gone from 300 or 400 to about 600, 700, which was massive. It's massive growth, someone with not much, and then I was getting a lot more views, a lot more likes, and that then resulted in me being in the match day programme for the playoff game at Leeds, which was massive again, a personal note for me. But I'd say probably playing Leeds was the big moment for me where I gained quite a lot. I think it was in total got about 60,000 views from making Leeds videos that year, just the 3 videos when we played them, which was triple, quadruple the amount the channel had at the time anyway. So probably the big boom moment was the Lampard season for me, really, when it really got big, and it's been steady ever since.
Nice. And I mean, you've mentioned about, of course, Rams TV and being able to do that. So how did that come about for you? At what kind of stage of your journey?
It was when I think I must have been on just over 1,000. I think it was 1,200. And at the time, I was, in terms of thinking creatively about how I wanted the videos to look, feel, and sound, I was a bit of a crossroads, really. I wasn't sure where I wanted to take them and what style, because you always want to be changing every year to keep things fresh and obviously improve. It was when Philip Cocu came in, so I'd say, I think it was 2019, late 2019, maybe 2020 actually. No, I think it was late 2019, and then just got the opportunity to make a 30-second video reaction after a couple of games, giving my thoughts. And it would go up on the Derby YouTube channel, along with a few others at the time who made videos similar to me for Derby. And then videos got put together, and there's a short collection of about 2-3 minute videos on Derby's YouTube channel, which my face is in, which for me, that's massive. That was such a personal moment for me when Derby County reached out and they're could you do these 30-second reaction videos? That was a great personal moment for me.
So of course you kind of snowballed nicely into the next question of what is your career high and your biggest achievement in kind of your journey so far?
There's probably a couple. Obviously the Derby County one is massive for me. That is probably top number one. But then I think also there's some of the more subtle milestones. Like I mentioned earlier, being in the matchday programme for the playoff leg at Leeds, which was regarded as one of the best Derby County games we've ever had. So to be in the programme for that was massive, and that was Leeds fans tagging me on a tweet and saying, we think you should be in for this, which really surprised me at the time, because I thought no one follows me on Twitter. But then they remembered me from the videos, which was massive. And then I got in the matchday programme again when we went the year after. So similarly, just those sort of little moments where you recognise for the stuff you do. I mean, it's all just about portraying the emotion and what it's like to be at a game. So to be recognised for that is just great. Just really happy to have that.
Nice. Is there kind of something different that is kind of a defining moment to you? So maybe something that's not a massive achievement, but it's kind of defined your journey in a different way?
Probably the documentary we spoke about before we started recording.
Yeah.
I called it More Than a Game. It was part of a university project. And that for me was just quite a personal moment, because within my own film work, I don't tend to mix like my personal stuff in with it, if that makes sense. I like to keep it quite separate.
Yeah.
But that was the first time really where I'd mixed the two, and probably my proudest piece so far. I think it looks quite professional. It's quite emotive. It's quite good. And for me that was a moment where I thought, yeah, like, it's a great piece that fits so well with the channel. And to go on there and showcase so many different people's point of view about Derby County was just a great personal moment for me to make that. I was just really proud of that when it was finished.
I mean, I've watched it, so I mean, I kind of like have it fresh in my mind as I watched it again today. Is that using your mum instead of you is, of course, every video they see you, and using your mum instead, that just shows kind of, she can remember kind of the earlier memories of you kind of going, and it kind of it shows you, but shows you in a different way told by someone else, and it's a better version of storytelling. Is, of course, as you said when I said what's your earliest memory of Derby and why you fell in love, of course your mum and dad have been there the whole way, so your mum can tell the story just as good as you, maybe even better. So it's nice to have that perspective, and it kind of shows you in a different light. It's, of course, she's got different words to say about you. She's seen kind of your growth with the channel and everything as well. So it shows that she's been supportive of your work, of where it might go in the future, but also shows kind of where you came from, which is nice. And I think it's nice to have that balance as well, with having, of course, the Punjabi Rams and stuff like that. So it kind of shows different kind of areas of the club as well. So I think it's a nice, well put together piece for it being 9.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So of course you've mentioned the filmmaking, and kind of what are your plans going forward with the channel, or with this season for the channel?
I think it's to carry on doing what I'm doing, but then I think you've always just got to look to improve. I think for me personally, obviously, wanting to do filmmaking and stuff like that, for me it's always about how I can incorporate that in the videos. Keep them interesting without them being too short, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want the videos to be more of a focus on the fans, really, more than like the goals or something like that. Like you've seen in the videos when I make them and the goals go in, it's definitely more of a focus on the fans than the actual players on the pitch. Because I think that's where the interesting thing is, because there's always a different story. Everybody in that stadium has a different story about the game, and they'll see it from a different perspective. So for me this season, I think it's trying to get more fans involved, maybe before the game. A couple of little interviews, just score predictions, really. If I can do that, then that would be great, because I think it would really bring a lot more people in, and also just tell a bit of a different narrative through each video.
Nice. I mean, do you do post-match as well? So, of course, for other people, and including other people, is that post-match outside the stadium something kind of that could be the next evolution for the kind of channel and for the videos?
I think it could be. I've never considered that, so it's genuinely a great point. I've never been one for doing the microphone outside the stadium. I think the most recognisable one is Arsenal Fan TV. That's never been my sort of thing, because I've never really been interested in like almost like interviewing and stuff like that. It's been more about filming and like I mentioned, like filmmaking. So, but that could be a really great way to round off the videos, really. I think definitely me showing more of the before and after the match is what is going to be key for this next season, really. And what should be key for the channel.
Is your journey like on a match day similar when it is at home? Is it kind of, do you have a certain ritual, like you and your family go to a particular place, or do you just go straight from home to a stadium? Is there kind of anything that you do specifically?
See, I think what could keep it interesting on that point is that obviously from pretty much most of the season I'm not based in Derby, so I have to obviously take the train like football fans do up and down the country every game, and when you take the train there's cancellations and stuff like that, so there's always something unique for the journey. I think waiting at the statue for one of my mates is always something that I do every game, no matter what. That's probably the thing that probably stays the same. I think every other game there's something a little bit unique before and after each game. I mean, there's been some times when, well, it might be an hour journey to the game, an hour back, and it's taken 6 hours to get back just because of everything. That would be a unique show. But yeah, it's always different. It's always different on a match day for me, really. Everything changes.
Nice. We're kind of going to delve into kind of more thought-provoking questions and kind of looking back on your kind of journey now. So is there anything that you'd do differently or a piece of advice that you'd give your younger self?
That's a difficult one. Probably just think about what I'm making a bit more carefully in terms of, I think if I'd have thought like I do now at the start, probably could have progressed a lot quicker than what I have, but I believe that's all part of the learning journey, really. It probably just, I think I didn't realise I could tie in my filmmaking with the videos until quite later on, so probably just keep enjoying it, really, and don't worry about the numbers, because they'll come. Just enjoy what you do. Like, if you enjoy what you're making, somebody else will out there too at some point.
100%. I think that's a good way of kind of looking at someone's journey. Everyone's kind of caught up on analytics and kind of the 1 out of 10 videos and stuff, especially on YouTube, whereas at the end of the day, for you, in 20, 30 years, you can see all your kind of experiences with Derby and kind of be like, oh, remember this game. You've got them all kind of as a catalogue of your life, and of course, for children or family in the future for you, you can show them and show why you support Derby and why that is the club for you. So, I mean, it's nice that it's not focused on the numbers for yourself.
I think that's a key thing to remember. I think a lot more now, so that's probably a piece of advice given me myself, is just don't worry about the numbers, really. They don't. For me now, it's if I enjoy making the video and what I've got, then that's fine. I'm a lot better now at not checking the numbers too much, because I think now I've got to a point where if I'm happy with the video, I know there'll be a couple of people out there who'll enjoy it too, so yeah, that's all good with me.
I mean, I checked the Oxford one when I watched it, and it was over 1,000 already, and I think it was like less than 24 hours after, so you're on to something.
It's going well, so I must be doing something right somewhere.
There you go. I'm going to ask you some kind of quick fire questions. Some are kind of related to Derby County, some are just general. You'll be able to hopefully answer all of them, but the first kind of question I've got for you is, do you think you can name 4 players in the current squad that have over 100 appearances? So, of course, we've had a lot of chop and change with, of course, players over the past couple of seasons and people leaving. So, do you think you could name the 4 of them?
Is that 100 appearances for Derby County?
100 appearances for Derby, Derby alone.
So, it's Craig Forsyth, got to be one. Max Bird's got to be number 2.
Yeah.
That's difficult. Max Bird's got to be number 2. Who else has 100 appearances for Derby County? Would Martin Waghorn count?
As of now, yes.
As of now, yeah. And then the 4th one.
The 4th one's a bit of a rogue one because it counts under 21 appearances. And this is the one I didn't get. So it counts kind of his under 21s and his Derby County appearances.
Oh, so he's a senior player who's played some under 21
yes.
games. Oh, okay, that's difficult.
This is the one I didn't get.
And it's a bit of a rogue one. Another thing. Is it Jake Rooney?
No, it's some. The hint that I'll give you is that he's injured currently.
He's out injured. Oh, that's difficult now. Is it? Oh, there's a couple of players in my head, and I'm thinking they surely haven't got over 100, even if they play. Is it Bradley Johnson?
No.
Is it not? It's got to be like James Chester.
No, Sibley. It's
Sibley. I was going to say Sibley, but I didn't know. Yeah,
so
I don't know why I didn't say that.
He's got 73 for the actual first team, and then of course under 21s bumps it over 100. So that's the questionable one. But yeah, Wycombe's only just gone over because of coming back as well.
Yeah.
So, but Forsyth's ahead on 251.
Yeah.
No one's near him. So that's just a little thing that I didn't know that I thought I'd test your knowledge on.
I didn't either, to be fair.
So my next question is, of course, because we were on about the current squad, who's your current favourite player? So it can be someone that's come in, but I doubt it'll be someone that's come in, but...
probably at the moment, it would have to be... It's a difficult one, because obviously we've had a lot of changes, and it usually takes me a season or two to get a favourite player, but probably Aaron Cashin. Just like the way he plays, he's 100% in. Never pulls out of a challenge sort of player, just a really solid defender. So I quite like Aaron Cashin. Hopefully we have him for a couple more seasons.
I mean, he went to Brighton, isn't he? So
yeah, which is a shame, but what a player he is, so I'm not surprised.
100%. It's a kind of one throughout watching Derby that kind of sticks out as your favourite player of kind of your duration watching.
In terms of my favourite player of all time watching Derby, it would be Johnny Russell. Started going half-season ticket for me. He was the play. He was a quick winger, could score a couple of goals. And I don't know why, I think it was that Forest goal he scored when we beat them 5-0, that one that went in the top corner. I was almost right behind the corner. So it just arrowed straight towards me. It was a great goal, and for me that just stuck in my mind. So yeah, probably Johnny Russell for me of all time. I was gutted when he left. Thought he was a top player, but it's nice to see him playing so well in America.
Nice. Of course, in your videos, you wear a lot of Derby shirts. What's kind of your holy grail that you'd want to kind of purchase for your collection?
I've seen a couple recently. I've got one of the old Puma shirts from, I think, the 97 season when One Chop scored that goal against United. Nice. Handed down from my dad, thankfully. But there's probably, I think it was from the same season, I'm not sure, but a purple, I think it was either the away or third kit purple shirt with, I think the Ram badge is in the middle with Puma below it, or Puma's in the middle and the Rams on the side. That's a fantastic kit for me. I'd love to get my hands on that, and I'm sure I will at some point, hopefully.
There you go. So you've got to try and source someone from somewhere. I mean, I can tell you now, I've not kind of seen that in person. I've seen it on pictures, but not in person anywhere. So
it's very rare. I've not seen many. I saw one available recently, which is a bit out of my price range at the moment.
Fair enough. I know you've done a prediction video on your own channel, but of course we're a couple of games in now. So has your prediction changed as of now, or are you still being optimistic?
I'm probably still being optimistic because I'd say I'm quite level-headed. I'm not one for getting carried away too much. That's probably come with the videos, talking about so many different fan bases. I'm only 3 games in. Do I think we're going to win the league, like I said? Probably not at the moment. I think definitely promotion would still be on the cards if we turn it around sharpish. But I just think at the moment we need a bit of a change formation wise, and then we'd be okay. But I still think we'll be in or around the playoffs, if not further up the pitch. We've got a pretty good squad. We just need to be performing better, pretty much.
100%. Of course, you mentioned the squad then. If you could buy a player, loan a player, and sell a player, what are you doing with the squad?
If I could buy a player from another team, I'd probably go with That's a difficult question. If I was going realistic, and that's difficult. We need somebody in holding midfield, so I'd probably go along the lines of a character like Barry Bannon, almost like a talisman in that middle to hold it up. Whether I'd go for Barry Bannon himself.
I mean, Darren Moore was there, so
yeah,
got the connection.
We never know. I think in terms of if I could loan a player in, I'd loan David McGoldrick back in, ask him to score a few more goals for us. I'd loan another striker in 100%. I'd probably loan in a striker like Andy Wyman from Bristol City. Good bit of pace about him, can score a few goals for them. Obviously, we're not going to get him on loan, but great if we could. Yeah. If I could sell a player, it's a difficult one because there's a couple of players which are out of favour at the moment, but I don't think we'd fetch a high fee for them. Sell a player, probably for his own career too at the moment. Louis Sibley doesn't seem to be getting much first team action at the moment, which is a shame. Really like Louis Sibley, think he's a great player, but I'd probably sell Louis Sibley for his own career because I think he's going to go on and play higher football than we're at the moment. I think he's got that ability. I just don't think he's getting the first team minutes he deserves, so I'd probably sell Louis Sibley for his own career, really.
Fair enough. I think they're all realistic, kind of in the world of where we are currently to kind of fit in. We're kind of moving on to questions for you now and not for Derby. What's your go-to karaoke song? So what are you busting out at a karaoke after a few drinks?
That's a great question. My go-to karaoke song, probably "I Want It That Way" by the Backstreet Boys.
Are you getting people involved in that?
Yeah. There's always got to be a couple of friends involved. I can never go out there on my own. There's got to be a few. Come up with me. But yeah, that's a go-to one for me. I've done that a few times now, actually.
There we are. We can watch out for it in Derby one time soon when we get promoted, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
So of course, my kind of last question. Of course, you've lived in Derby. You've got, of course, strong affiliation with the club and everything. If someone came to Derby and you could show them your gem of Derby, where are you taking them? I think it's pretty obvious, but you might have a left field shout.
It would obviously have to be Pride Park Stadium straight away on a match day. Get them involved, show them what. Because I think you are a pretty big footballing city.
Yeah.
I would say. I think there's elements of Derby County everywhere you go. In terms of another shout, I can't think of one. It would have to be Pride Park on a match day. I don't know where else I'd take someone who's never been to Derby before. I think Pride Park is probably the best one. It like that documentary I made. It encapsulates the city and everybody there. I think, Pride Park Stadium obviously the most obvious one. But yeah, for me, Pride Park Stadium 100%.
Nice. And then finally, just to round up, where can people kind of find you, kind of on a match day or kind of online? Where can people find you?
Online, it's obviously just Goalanger on YouTube, a name that I sort of coined a long time ago. And I was trying to come up with a name that just wasn't my own name, so it would be unique, almost in a way.
Nice.
So Goalanger on YouTube, and then pretty much the same handle, but with YT on the end for Twitter, Instagram. That just stands for YouTube, for anybody who's listening doesn't realise. It's Goalanger YT, because they were taken. But yeah, you can find me on them. Pretty much quite a lot of platforms. But yeah, you can find me on them. On a match day, usually just milling about before and after the game. But yeah, that's just me.
Wicked. And I mean, hopefully the next time I talk to you, Derby might be in a better situation, and hopefully I get to see you soon. So thank you for coming on and take care.
So. Thanks for getting me on. Thank you.
Want to know what's happening within Derby's black community? Or perhaps you have a story of your own to share? Then look no further than Majatu, your one-stop source for local African and Caribbean news. With our digital news platform and quarterly print magazine, keep up to date on all of the latest in arts, entertainment, food, sports and more. Find us online at mojatu.com.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Peaking to Success podcast. If you enjoyed, please make sure you follow us on Spotify as well as Instagram, where you can see all the updates of who is coming up, as well as who has already been on the podcast, as well as Twitter, where there is information and interaction from me on there as well. Thank you.
Listen wherever you download your podcasts.